against corruption has deepened under his administration as he commissions the Law House.
I will not set aside due process and the rules of natural justice on the altar of the fight against corruption, no matter how much opprobrium this position incurs for me.
Also, the Attorney General assures steps are underway to improve the working conditions of state attorneys in the regions.
That the era where regional offices of the Attorney General, a Minister of Justice, and other agencies of the ministry perch in the corner of buildings belonging to other government institutions or are sometimes thrown out of premises in which they are licensees should be over soon.
Also coming up, flag bearer of the NDC, Hammer, adds more flesh to his 24-hour economy electoral promise, asserting it will create jobs and revitalize the economy.
24-hour port and harbour services, 24-hour customs services, 24-hour DVLA services, 24-hour manufacturing industries.
And ahead of the December 7th general election, the NDC says it has what it takes to collate their results on time.
We shall collate our results on time, as we did during the Asantehene North by-election. And on 7th December, if the EC makes any mistakes, we shall promptly correct them. Change is coming, and change must come.
And on the Labour front, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission appeals to the NIO workers to end the strike, warning it could derail gains made in negotiations on their conditions of service.
When we are negotiating with a union and that particular union declares industrial action, we are unable to continue engagement.
But while the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission attempts to douse one flame, the medical laboratory scientists ready in tow to strike next Monday.
Ample time have been submitted to duty bearers to act. Between now and 17th is enough time. The effect will be dire. I mean, essentially, services will be withdrawn and there could be loss of lives ultimately.
We'll hear from the leaders in sports.
The Black Stars face a crucial encounter against Central African Republic with a chance to go top of Group I in the World Cup qualifiers.
An historic visit to Otumfuo II becomes the first Asantehene in 78 years to visit the Ghana state, hailed as the milestone in strengthening Asante-Ghana-Dangbe relations.
It's very historic. 78 years ago at the Polo Grounds was in Accra. I'm told that Otumfuo had the opportunity to speak to him.
These are more with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Please stay with us. Now, President Kofi says despite what he describes as ugly noise, the fight against corruption has deepened under his administration. Addressing a gathering to formally open the Law House, the president says various laws passed and the strengthening of anti-corruption institutions have helped in minimizing the impact of the canker on society.
Despite the ugly noises, the fight against corruption has been the cornerstone of my administration. With a clear understanding that corruption thrives in an atmosphere conducive to its concealment, and that access to information is a vital tool in the fight against corruption. My government in its first term ensured the passage of the Right to Information Act in order to give true meaning and effect to Article 21, Clauses 1F of the Constitution. The Act, which successive governments have failed to pass, sees to the implementation of the constitutional right to information held by a public institution to foster a culture of transparency and accountability in public affairs, subject to exemptions, necessary and consistent with the protection of the public interest in a democratic society. The Act is now being fully implemented, with the governing board chaired by an experienced and respected retired High Court judge. The Ministry of Information has trained information officers in various ministries, departments, and agencies of government to support the full application of the law.
Well, President Kofi also described as unfortunate claims he's only interested in clearing his appointees accused of corruption.
I'm sure we are all aware of the statement by the former president and perennial NDC presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, stigmatizing me as the clearing agent, because for him, Mere allegation without more is enough to merit condemnation of an accused public official, especially one of my administration. For my part, and let me state it again for the record, I will not set aside due process and the rules of natural justice on the altar of the fight against corruption, no matter how much opprobrium this position incurs for me.
Well, the president also assures of law and order in the December 7 general elections.
I want to use the opportunity of this platform to reassure the Ghanaian people that the law enforcement agencies of the state, including the Office of the Attorney General, will do all within their power to ensure that law and order prevail in the country at all times, especially during this critical election year. We will not allow the peace, security, and stability of the nation, which have made Ghana a beacon of democracy on the African continent, to be compromised on the altar of the ambitions of any political party or presidential candidate. It will not happen. The laws on our statute books, including those on vigilantism, will be strictly and vigorously enforced to preserve the peace and tranquility of the country.
Well, NDC flag bearer John Mahama has also been speaking on the elections. We'll be hearing from him shortly. But first, the law house started during the era of former President John Kofi was finally completed and handed to government last month. It will house the Office of the Attorney General and other offices of the Justice Ministry. Sector Minister Godfred Yeboah-Dame says steps are underway to address accommodation challenges facing state attorneys in the regions.
Towards realizing the dream of a modern public legal service, I dare say that the era where regional offices of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice and other agencies of the ministry perch in the corner of buildings belonging to other government institutions or are sometimes thrown out of premises in which they are licensees should be over soon. I am of the respectful view that every regional office of the Ministry of Justice ought to own at least a 3-story edifice, and I have commenced discussions in this regard with the World Bank towards the possibility of a funding for this project. The Office of Attorney General and Ministry of Justice is a strengthening of the litigating capacity of the office to rise to the demands of various facets of civil litigation, including international arbitration and cases in foreign courts and tribunals. I am happy to state that the quality of representation of the state by the Office of Attorney General has considerably increased as the state holds its own in most international arbitrations without the aid of foreign counsel, and most importantly, has gone on to achieve tremendous success in this regard.
Well, meanwhile, an early warning and response mechanism set up by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is raising red flags over the level of mistrust between political parties and the Electoral Commission of Ghana with less than 7 months to the general election. Ghana's Early Warning Mechanism Director, Colonel William Kwesi Ohiming, noted that steps will be taken to engage all stakeholders to identify the source of this emergence for peace to prevail.
We are aware that the election is coming out and it's one of the major issues, security issues that needs to be looked at. The Electoral Commission and its staff and the political parties to find ways of coordinating with them to see their views and how we all together as a country can work together to bring out the best from this research. Some desktop research has already been done based on the sources, reliable sources, open sources that are out there. And so for this one, we seek to go out to validate those sources that we've already had.
And you heard Ghana's Early Warning Mechanism Director, Colonel William Kwesi Ohiming. And in the NDC camp, former President John Mahama is upbeat about his 24-hour economy electoral promise, asserting it is key to revitalizing the ailing economy. The NDC is yet to provide the fine details of the program, but speaking at a social media engagement last night, John Mahama, who is also the flag bearer for the 2024 presidential election, says the environment will be created to enable more public and private institutions to operate on a 24-hour basis.
The stark reality is that the current 8-hour working system is inadequate to create the production, productivity, and well-paying jobs required for the revival of Ghana's currently bankrupt economy. The 24-hour economy initiative is the answer for now and the future. This is the 24-hour economy optimization strategy. The benefits of this system will include, but not limited to, 24-hour port and harbor services, 24-hour customs services, 24-hour DVLA services, 24-hour agro-processing factories, 24-hour manufacturing industries, 24-hour construction companies, 24-hour diversified sanitation and waste management services, 24-hour financial institutions.
While describing as unacceptable the unemployment situation in the country, the former president said a reset of the country would fix all wrongs undertaken by the current regime.
I need your vote to reset Ghana. By resetting Ghana, we will repair the dangerous damage that has been done to our country's economy and people. Businessmen and women who have been giving raw deals by this government's apparatchiks will have their say and can be assured of restoration.
Well, the former president challenged the outcome of the 2020 presidential election at the Supreme Court but lost. Ahead of the December election, he indicated the NDC has a robust election monitoring center capable of collating results ahead of the Electoral Commission.
This election is not going to be business as usual. Through our party executives, we are recruiting competent, committed, and loyal agents at the constituency and branch levels. Personally, I have also tasked the NDC Elections and IT Directorate to rely on our party's robust database to generate potential polling agents. In addition, we're recruiting volunteers, willing young Ghanaians ready and willing to join our campaign efforts in the communities to drive home the message and demand for change. We shall collate our results on time, as we did during the Asantehene by-election and the just ended limited voters registration exercise. And on 7th December, if the EC makes any mistakes, we shall promptly correct them. Change is coming, and change must come.
You had NDC flag bearer John Mahama to the camp of the NPP now, and flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has received an overwhelming welcome from hundreds of party supporters as he begins his 3-day tour of the Ashanti region. Crowds gathered along major streets as he begins his 3-day tour, and joining us now is Nana Boakye Yadom, who is on the tour with the president. Now, Nana Boakye, what has the vice president been doing since morning?
Well, in the morning, he had an engagement with the regional executives and other government functionaries in the Asante region, and he later went to meet the Ghana Black Stars team ahead of their game against the Central African Republic at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Currently, the vice president is having a meeting with the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, where the Asantehene Bafose is chairing the meeting. Currently, the vice president has mounted the stage, touting his achievements. A number of NPP supporters joined the vice president as he pays his visit to the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs. He has been touting the achievements of the New Patriotic Party's government while asking for the blessings and the prayers of Nananom as he leads his way to the campaign in the Ashanti region.
So, Nana, what happens after meeting the Regional House of Chiefs?
Well, currently the vice president is speaking. He has just been touting his achievements. The chairperson is the Asantehene Bafo Osebonsu, who says that this is the very first time that Nananom and then Nana Ahemafo are meeting. A big issue is coming in to pay homage to them in the absence.
And you heard Nana Boakye Yadom is a man on the ground on a tour with the NPP flag bearer Mahmoud Bawumia. The election headquarters was brought to you by Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and AICPA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants and the German Ozone Medical Center Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, and also Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service. Away from that, the strike by the NIA workers has got the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission worried over its negotiations with them. The Commission fears months of progress could be jeopardized by the industrial action. But before the action today, the NIA workers had issued alerts in March for a faster negotiation process on better working conditions. Today, services at their offices here in Accra and other regions have grinded to a halt. My colleague Clinton Yabwa interacted with some stranded customers in Kumasi in the Ashanti region.
Yeah, I was here to do this Ghana card. They directed me to here to do Ghana card. But when I came, they said they are on strike. And I asked them when are they coming back. They said they don't know. I mean, to further notice. And I think this is the only office they does, is it? Yeah. So.
Did they explain why they are on strike?
They did not. I just asked them when are they coming back, and they said they don't know. That's it. That was it about. Basically, I don't know. I'm not in a system anyway. So I'm just coming, and I just want to go and register this Vodafone thing, and they said I need a Ghana card. So that's why I'm just chasing up to do it. So I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Me Ghana card ya and ye buy say ye be ye fufuro. Ye buy ye bedu ye almost omo strike into omo nyama ye. Ye bisa omo mpo say da be mpo na ebe ye ya ebe ba be so almost omo nim da kra ebe ye. Me frejo so.
My Ghana card is missing, and I am here from Ejiso for a new one. But they are on strike and they are telling me they do not know when they are returning. The Ghana card is what I use for everything.
Well, we'll be hearing from our correspondents in other regions, but the Commission is urging the workers to call off their strike and return to the negotiations table. But before we hear from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, let's go on the phone lines now and speak to Anas Gaskia, who's been monitoring the situation in Techiman in the Bonny East region. Anas, what have you been monitoring since?
Yes, the offices of the NIA remain closed. We've been monitoring the situation since 10 a.m. this morning, and people come and leave disappointed in a frustrated manner because some of them have to travel from other parts of the region to the capital, Techiman, to make sure they get their Ghana cards. But unfortunately, the strike action, which means the offices remain closed, means these persons have to go back to their respective communities, hoping that the strike action will end soon, so they will be able to come for their Ghana card. So as I speak to you now, people are frustrated, especially people who are not residents of Techiman, and have to travel back to their communities after meeting this particular situation there.
Thank you so much, Anas. Abidwell will be visiting other regions subsequently. But here's Director of Grievances and Negotiations at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Professor Charles Opon Adabo, explaining work so far with the NIA workers.
I would say that currently government is at the negotiation table with the unions at NIA. In fact, the last time we met them the 22nd of May 2024, and we made progress. A lot of the items that they submitted were agreed. And I will say that, when it comes to negotiations, it is not a one-off short event. You need to have a number of meetings, especially when there are counter proposals, counter offers. Sometimes government has to step back to reassess some of the things that, will come up during the engagement. So negotiation has not stalled. And so we are a bit surprised that they have declared indefinite strike because negotiation is still ongoing. We are yet to fix the next meeting when we met the last time on 22nd.
But while the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission attempts to douse one flame, the medical laboratory scientists are readying to strike next Monday. They've complained of the slow pace of negotiations and majority of their financial demands denied. First Vice Chair of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers, Franklin Ama, has served notice of a strike next Monday.
We are essential service providers. And so should we get to a point like we have gotten to, where members are disgruntled and frustrated and desperate, and have resorted to the last option, which is strike, the consequences are dire, and it is the common Ghanaian who will bear the grudge. We shouldn't get here anyway if duty bearers have been proactive and have acted in good faith.
So where is the obstacle?
The Fair Wages and Salary Commission need a certain financial mandate which will come from the Ministry of Finance.
Right.
And that is not forthcoming. And we think that it is not good enough.
And you blame the Finance Ministry?
Of course, they have to give the tangible.
The clearance?
Yeah. They have to give the tangible. What the Fair Wages engages in to see whether your arguments are solid and fair.
What's your proposal before government?
It cuts across from the non-financial aspect to the financial aspect. The financial aspect is what has been dragging now, because we submitted 13 items, and only 2 is what the Ministry of Finance say they can get financial.
And you heard there Franklin Ama, first vice chair of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union, in an interview with my colleague Elton Robin. That brings us to a break on the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. When we return, we have sports and also historic visit. Otunfo Setutu II becomes the first Asantehene in 78 years to visit the Ga state, hailed as the milestone in strengthening Asante-Ga-Dangbe relations.
It's very historic. 78 years ago at the Polo Grounds was in Accra. I'm told that Otunfo had the opportunity to speak to him.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
The regular football season is over. But not for us here at Supersport. We've got a big deal coming your way. Get connected to DSTV to see some of football's biggest names starring in all 51 matches of Euro 2024, live and in HD. Now that's a big deal.
Welcome back to the midday news. We have sports with Mubarak.
Yes, Mami. So Ghana could go top of Group I with a big win over Central African Republic today. The Black Stars have 6 points from 3 games and find themselves behind Madagascar and Comoros, who lead on goal difference. We can now hear from the head coach, Otuado.
One thing's for sure, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for everyone who thinks that we can just play them like that. I don't think it will happen. If it's happening, I take it, sure, but it's very, very difficult to beat them. We analyze them well. We can't relax now. We have to continue. I mean, every player wants to go to the World Cup, no matter where it is. Players are fighting for their spots. I can really feel that how the players are eager to win and how the players want to give their all to qualify for this World Cup.
Yep, and then motivation for the Black Stars from Vice President of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Waumia, who has donated 500,000 Ghana cedis to the team to boost their morale for the match tonight.
All right, Mubarak, thank you very much. Now, the Global Fund has issued a final warning to Ghana, demanding that TB and malaria medications sent to the country in October last year be cleared from the port with immediate effect. The fund is frustrated that despite assurances from the government, the majority of shipment remain at the Tema port and are at the risk of expiry. In April, the GRA announced it had secured the tax waivers to enable it clear the drugs after months of delay, but demurrage and third-party charges amounting to 7 million cedis remain outstanding, making it difficult for more than 118 containers still stuck at the port. Samuel Hackman, who is with the Global Fund Coordinating Mechanism Secretariat in Ghana, has been speaking to my colleague Rejoice Semefa.
At this juncture, It is as bad as it was 2 months ago because the issue has not been fully resolved. And this issue we are referring to is part of the $45 million commodities that were procured by the Global Fund under the GC6 for Ghana. And that part of it has still been held or stuck at the port is very worrying. And it's also denting the relationship that we have with the Global Fund as a country.
Can we say in specific terms that this is going to make the Global Fund withdraw its assistance for Ghana when it comes to drug procurement?
There's no mincing of words about that. They have stated it categorically to us that they would have done that earlier, but for the long-standing relationship, they
Now, persons who witnessed the official visit by the Asantehene Otumfuo II to the Ghana state have described it as historic and a significant step towards strengthening the ties between Asantes and the Gadangmes. This visit by the Asantehene marks 78 years since an Asantehene Otumfuo Prempeh II paid a visit to the Ghana state on July 25, 1946. Maxwell Agbagba has more on this report.
The firing of musketry by various Asafo groups, the melodious tunes of Ghana traditional music filled the air. The last time there was a similar visit was 78 years ago. Former Attorney General Ni Ayikwe Otu revealed when the Gatmancha Kentucky Teko Churu II visited the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II during his 25th anniversary. The Asantehene spoke Ga with him. With this visit, and the fact that when the Gatmancha visited Otumfuo and took part in the celebrations, I'm told that Otumfuo had the opportunity to speak Ga to him. At that, it should open that opportunity for everybody to know that we are equal, we are all Ghanaians. The Gatmancha, during a recent interview on the Personality Profiles show with Lexis Bill, revealed how he lived in the Ashanti region for 25 years and moved to Accra during his national service at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. At the Deba ground, various government officials who are Gadangmes lauded the visit by the Asantehene. Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover described the visit as historic. It's very historic. 78 years ago at the Polo Grounds, then Asantehene Nana Prempeh II, 25th of July 1946, was in Accra. So the visit of Otumfuo today, 9th of June 2024, is very historic. Interior Minister and former Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Kofi wants the two groups to partner for development.
You do know that aside the chieftaincy matters, Ashanti region and Greater Accra are one of the two of the regions that contributes to the development of the economy and of course in terms of culture in this country. So I think that this is one of the best that could have happened to the country.
And Maxwell Agbagba with that report. Another season of wordplay and all the drama is upon us once again as schools go at each other on the first day of the national qualifiers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Here in Accra, Chemu Senior High School, Teshi Senior High School and Pesek Osu are battling it in the first contest for a ticket to the national. Listen to what each school says it has in store for their rivals.
Prepared, and my students are very prepared, and the school with the encouragement of the teachers, and I'm very prepared. I'm sure by this year results we'll get a good results.
And my colleague James Avaji is on the ground for us. James, has the contest ended and what is the latest?
Yes, Mami, so that contest ended some few minutes ago with Chemu Senior High School getting the slot to the national. They won by some 46 points. Presekosu had 32 points and Teshi Senior High School had some 14 points. Currently ongoing is the second contest for the day happening between Odogono and Lasibi Senior High Schools as well as Accra High School. They are in the second round of the contest. And so first lot having grabbed into the Greater Accra region, Maniesi.
Thank you so much, James, for that good report. And that leads us to Jackie and Max. What's the latest?
Yes,
what's trending?
good report, because your school is
qualified. Of course.
If they didn't
well, they
qualify,
are still going to meet other big fishes there.
Well,
so
we'll make it to the finals, I tell you.
Well.
Yeah, but Asantehene is trending on Twitter. Garmanch is also trending after that special Deva. Yeah.
That beautiful report.
Yeah, Chief Seidu Adamu says, you can say anything about institutions, but certainly you need strong people to build strong institutions. Need Teku Chu, the Garmanch has transformed the Gan state with his color and candor. In the past, news from the Gan chieftaincy was all negative. He changed the narrative.
Okay, and away from that to Stonebwoy and Baba Sadiq, they are trending. So, with what started as a social media banter ended in the courtroom with Stonebwoy filing a 3 million Ghana cedis defamation lawsuit against Baba Sadiq. So people have been talking about it, and of course, Black Stars are also trending ahead of their match.
They're playing at 7 p.m. today.
Yeah,
I'll eat at 6 p.m.
I will not even watch, just to save myself. Anyway, thank you so much, Max and Jackie, and that's how we end the midday bulletin here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Amiesi Nyameche. Thompson Pastor Mensa Audible is up next.